And we are now live. This
Hey.
is episode 4 of the Sweet Science TV. And in honor of Julian J. Rock Williams, we're going to play a little Cassidy.
Little throwback.
Very throwback. I didn't want to go contemporary. Didn't want to go with Meek Mill or anything.
Keep it spicy.
Keep it spicy. Let me cue that. All right. So to start the show, we want to dive into a really exciting fight that just occurred a couple of days ago between Hurd and Julian Williams. So Jared Swift Hurd versus Julian Williams. Julian Williams, he only had one loss in his career.
J-Rock,
one loss. Swift Hurd came in basically undefeated, reigning champion. You know, people prior to the fight had said that with Hurd, he doesn't really have too much of a style. He just tries to manhandle you in the ring. He was trying to intimidate Julian Williams. I felt, based off the press conference I saw previously, because Julian Williams is a little shorter, a little smaller than Hurd. Hurd's pretty strong. But you guys know what happened. Williams took the victory. Ravi, what's your thoughts? And if you could provide a greeting for our audience.
Oh, yeah. Just want to shout out our loyal viewers and subscribers. Thanks for tuning in to the Sweet Science TV. That's right. I didn't know that much about these fighters. I mentioned a couple episodes ago, you know, we try to keep up on all the fighters, but current events, there's so many different big matches. This was a super welterweight championship. Jared Hurd was the reigning champion, undefeated. And I looked up a little bit about each fighter, not too much information. Julian Williams was the 8th ranked fighter on the list on
or in the Ring TV, right?
Ring TV website, which we'll put in the bottom over here. But Jared Hurd pretty much he wasn't ready for that kind of fight. Julian Williams, from what I understand, had a grueling training camp prior to this fight to get himself prepared to meet the champion. And he was just, his movement in that fight was uncanny. And he had some nice in and out shots where he gets in the box, hits him a couple of times, moves around, circles. I noticed he changed southpaw briefly a couple of times. Yeah. To catch this man on angles. I think he's probably
Jacobs.
He was that was a special performance by Williams. I think that just based on the announcers, they were kind of shocked that this fight turned out this way. But Julian Williams really was humble on his post-fight speech, mentioning that I really like this that he mentioned. You know, we shouldn't judge fighters on if you have a loss or two, because every fighter needs to go through that in order to get to the top.
Yeah, so. And I want to get into that comment in a little bit. That's a good point that he brought up. And that's kind of trending right now in the boxing world. That little snippet of him talking about that is trending. And it's important that we can talk about that as well. But back into the fight, from my perspective, what I thought I saw was a remarkable performance. And definitely, in my opinion, a way better fight than the Canelo-Jacobs fight. Canelo Jacobs, they did a lot of dancing. They did a lot of careful strategic movement. But this fight just gave it to you raw. They both were going at it. And make no mistake, Hurd lost, but Hurd didn't give up. Hurd went down, Hurd got back up, and Hurd still tried to move forward and just swing and stay in there with Williams. But luckily for Williams, he was able to just basically get the best of Hurd that night.
Hurd showed a lot of heart in that fight, and that's why he was a champion. And it's probably pretty emotional losing those belts in that fashion. But he seemed pretty humbled by those comments again. Julian Williams really complimenting Hurd and encouraging Hurd. Yeah, I mean, usually fighters are more about themselves and their camp. They show a little love to the other side, but I thought it was really really professional and world class to really honor your opponent. I hope to see more of that in boxing and in sports in general. That's just my thing. I like, shaking hands and being cool after it.
Yeah, and prior to the fight, there was a lot of smack talk in between both the fighters. So it was kind of surprising to see it end that way, where Julian was able to pay homage to Hurd in a way, and his mother. So
Yeah, Julian Williams lost his mother, and he was complimenting Hurd on his mother and how nice she is, and I thought that was pretty touching. So I like that. I like that after a great fight, and I would love to rewatch this fight, and hopefully they get a rematch. There's a rematch clause, so I think that could be on the horizon for Williams. But tremendous upset by Williams.
Definitely, no doubt about it. What part or how much of the fight you think was influenced by Julian's Philly upbringing? Because again, Philly fighters are known to deliver in a certain sense, the same way like Florida and Texas is known for football players. Boxing is Philly's thing. You know, we have fighters like Danny Garcia, as you mentioned, Rocky Balboa. You know, guys like that deliver night in and night out.
I just love the swagger of Philly fighters. Yep. I just love that swagger. And it's like this guy's swagger was a little different. It was more, he kind of broke down after winning that fight, thanking God. And, it was just kind of an emotional experience. And I don't know, man, those Philly guys, when they want to train hard, I mean, they go out of this guy really. He missed his daughter's 4th birthday due to training camp, but he's stuck in there and got himself.
You got to do what you got to do.
That's most of the work in a lot of these big fights is how great can you prepare and carry that preparation into the ring.
Handle the pressure, all the pressure that surrounds it, you know?
Yeah.
Watching the way Julian Williams after the fight broke down kind of told me that I think he was shocked himself that he won. Like he wanted to win, but I don't 100% think he thought he was going to pull it off. But I think the fear of losing was stronger than the confidence that Hurd brought into the fight, and that fear of losing is maybe what tipped the scales in Williams' favor because they were both going at it. You know, it was a slugfest for a while. So I think at the end of the night, Williams had the stronger will to win, and that's basically what brought him the victory. So.
TW, the will to win. Couldn't have been said better. Williams, yeah, I mean, he brought that. Maybe losing that fight in the past and that other draw, maybe that helped him come in a little loose. And Jared Hurd wasn't prepared for that type of battle. But another thing I wanted to talk about is Dan Rafael on Twitter and numerous other outlets thought it was a closer fight for some reason, and the judges got it right. It was a unanimous decision for J-Rock.
Yes.
So I'm concerned for the sport. The media can influence people to think this way because if you watch the fight,
let's get into those comments. Let's get into the comments after the fight. Julian Williams was basically talking about, hey, at the end of the day, a boxer basically shouldn't be judged off having no losses because that doesn't really say much. You know, there's guys that duck people all the time. So, yeah, you have no losses, but does that make you a great fighter? I think I respect the fighter more who does get a loss, you know, or who at least tries to take on a bigger obstacle. Like, for instance, as is shown on your shirt, Canelo, we could use him as an example. He fought Mayweather when he was younger. He was 21. Mayweather was a little bit past his prime, but he was still up there. He took on the challenge. He lost. He got that L, but at least he went for it, you know, where a lot of people weren't ready for that type of fight. So there's a lot of guys that duck fights, and it's good to see that Williams understands that that's not how it should be. What do you think about his comments on the media and the role they do play, because they do have a significant presence, I feel, in the boxing community?
I don't think the media, or I don't want to lump them into one, but from what I've seen,
including us, he's including us, the Sweet Science TV.
From what I've seen is that maybe the media or the main guys like Dan Rafael weren't ready for this type of fight, and they already had the narrative, and that's a problem. You should know is you should watch the fight and judge it for what it is, not have a narrative. Now, if the narrative goes with it, sure, fine. But
do you think
that was a unanimous decision?
I agree with that. But do you also think that potentially, I don't know, but do you believe maybe some of these reporters, some of these news outlets, they might have their pockets lined by these promotional companies sometimes in order to sway the way things go?
Absolutely. That's the main issue here, conflict of interest. Look at the DAZN's broadcast of them just loving themselves on air while we're
Yeah.
trying to enjoy the fight. So I mean, yeah, shameless
Shameless promotion,
promotions.
always.
So yeah, so I think that
Um,
they got to do a better job of judging the fight as it is. Dan Rafael, I'm surprised. I'm really surprised by that.
I am as well. But I do think there's a big correlation between, like, I was watching something on ESPN Top Rank, and they were just going in on how Top Rank is the best and how only they have the best fighters. And we know this is not necessarily true, but at the end of the day, this is what the business has become, you know?
Yeah, take
Uh,
it or leave it. I guess we want to see the good fights, so we have to accept it. But doesn't
there's,
mean we can't talk about it and call them out. That's what we do
yeah,
here on the Sweet Science TV.
that's right. I was going to try to avoid talking about Oscar De La Hoya this episode for once, but he's part of the cancer, I'm not going to lie. So that's just
Yeah,
a
Golden
well
Boy
known, well known
gets his
fact.
hands, likes to get his paws dirty.
He likes to get his paws dirty. This man has mastered the wheeling and dealing and the corruption of the sport. At one point, this man was an innocent boxer, and now
Fighting everybody, taking all challengers.
taking all challengers. Now look at him. Now look,
Who'd
he's
have
just
thought
getting
that?
into the dark
Who'd
side.
have thought that shit was gonna happen like that?
I would have never thought it, but it is what it is. So,
Breaking news, a little bit off script, but
whoa,
2 days ago, we did get confirmation that Keith one-time Thurman, is going to be fighting Manny Pacquiao on July 20th,
big fight,
day
big
before my
fight.
birthday. So it's going to be cool. I think we might want to throw up us together doing a live
We might
show
have
for that.
to. I think we're gonna have to do the live from Gail's house. Shout out to Gail Carrillo. I think she's always ready. So
Shout out to
you know.
Gail. Yeah.
And that way we could avoid more technical issues with Meligod. He's currently having issues right now with his audio once again.
But we're hoping to get him back on. But if not,
We'll see. If
we'll
not,
hear
the
from
show
him.
goes on.
Show
Right?
must go on. Yes, sir.
But yeah, that's going to be a big fight, and we definitely want to talk about that fight moving forward as we get closer to the fight. I think that's going to be something special to spice up the summer 19, if you will.
It's a little bit down the line, but I just thought since it was just recently confirmed,
Big announcement.
and kind of let y'all know about that, and we'll get some more information as the weeks lead up to that.
As it develops.
Huge fight. But
for both parties.
Absolutely.
But speaking of huge fights, we have a big fight coming up this Saturday between Deontay Wilder and Dominic Breazeale. So Dominic Breazeale, I believe, if I'm not mistaken, has had 21 fights. He's only lost one, which came to Anthony Joshua. And you have Deontay Wilder, who's had 41 fights, no losses, one draw. So what is your thoughts going into the fight? There's also a lot of bad blood between these two boxers outside of the ring. Going into it, like, what are your predictions? What are you seeing so far from all the media coverage that's been going on?
Man, I think if you don't like Deontay Wilder, you're not a real fight fan. You gotta love this guy's charisma, and just I don't know. Just I'm a fanboy. I think he's a world class fighter. Dominic Breazeale is no slouch. He's been in pretty much all his fights. I haven't seen every single one of them, but I've seen most of his recent ones, including that Joshua fight, which I also watched earlier this afternoon.
Yeah.
And Joshua outboxed Breazeale. I mean, for a heavyweight to move, I mean, I've seen Joshua fight before, but for a heavyweight to move that light on his feet and have that kind of power, for one, hopefully they test this man pretty good, because this guy looked like I don't know who's gonna beat Joshua, but Breazeale took those punches, ate them, and got beat up the whole fight. I thought the ref could have probably called it. I know that was in the UK.
Probably should have. Yeah.
He was not getting any love in the UK, and I thought the ref did a pretty poor and borderline dangerous job in that fight, because you got two giants, and this guy Breazeale, sure, he didn't go down, but I mean, I think he was out after like the.
Do you think he suffered
4th
some
round.
damage, some permanent damage from that fight?
That's what I was getting into, because you watching that fight, him coming out of that as a whole and coming back to his old self, that's the type of fight that changes you forever. Getting that kind of beating and staying
Absolutely.
and not going down. There's a lot of guys, I give him props, and as well as it was a little stupid to just stand up there and take it, but that tells you the kind of chin that Breazeale has. He has a chin, and you keep coming forward. So I was impressed by that, but
he's gonna need a chin like that for this fight. He's definitely gonna need a chin like that. Deontay Wilder finishes off everyone.
That big right hand, the faint left hand, and then the big over the top right.
The bronze bomb.
That punch, like you know, wrestling, everybody got like their signature moves, and it's fake like WWE. But in boxing, that is the most signature punch for a fighter. Like, you know, that's his punch. That's what he does to put you down. And yeah, Wilder, I mean, he's really hurt some guys in the ring. So Breazeale, hopefully he got his big boy pants on for this fight.
And then just to give a little background info for some of the people who don't know, the bad blood stems from a while back, where there was a fight Deontay Wilder was in and Breazeale was present. Breazeale from the crowd was basically heckling Wilder in a way. So the next day after the fight, Breazeale and his family are having breakfast at a hotel, where Deontay Wilder and his brother proceed to notice and walk towards Breazeale, and a big melee broke out. You know, punches were thrown, shoving, all types of stuff was going on. And from there, that's where the real hatred stems from. Breazeale feels that Deontay Wilder was basically attacking his family. Wilder feels like that wasn't really the case. How much do you think that will play into this fight? Will that throw off anybody off their game with that emotion?
I think Breazeale said he'll kill his family or something. He said some terrible shit too.
Whoa!
So you can't just say say like Wilder's one-sided. We won't say. I wouldn't say that, but that in terms of the altercation. But if somebody says that type of shit to me, I mean, it don't care. It won't have to wait till you get in the ring. It might be on site. And that's how he feels, and that's the type of guy Deontay Wilder is. If you talk some smack, like there was a troll or some guy, he's in the boxing, a real local troll, and Deontay Wilder found this internet troll, went to his gym where he trains at, and then beat the shit out of him with gloves on, but pretty much had it filmed. It's on YouTube. And I mean, that's a little bit crazy and a little bit over the line, but at the same time, it's kind of nice to see that all these trolls talk about
tenacity.
God's toughness. And he said, "I'm going to find you where you're at." And that's what he did. He didn't kill the guy or anything. He just found where he's at, beat him up, and that was that. So if Breazeale said some stuff, I think knowing Deontay Wilder's character, he'll confront you. So.
For sure.
He's going to come in angry. Hopefully, Breazeale is ready to take that heat.
Yeah, honestly, I've watched a lot of Breazeale's fights previously, and I've known he's received decisions or he's knocked these guys out, but not in an impressive fashion. Nothing that's really blown me away the same way Wilder's able to. Wilder can take punches. Wilder's taking some heavy punches from Tyson Fury, from Luis Ortiz.
Yep.
He's managed to basically dangle like a heroin addict, just dangle his body alive,
a little bit,
get back into it, and then get back and then take these victories. So he can fight, and he has a tough chin himself. So I really don't see Dominic Breazeale winning this fight. I see this ending definitely in a knockout. And if Anthony Joshua was able to put this man down, I think Wilder will do twice as much damage, in my opinion, because he's quicker, he's more erratic, and he just has a stronger punch.
He's like a caged animal, like the way because some of his punches aren't traditional, and he's kind of
nothing's traditional about him.
He's kind of wide, but he got in the fight game later than most guys. You know.
Well, and that's one.
So he's still getting better. And the one question about him was, could he take a punch? Because this guy started later than most fighters, so he's evolving. He's even getting better.
He even mentioned prior to this fight, his training camp, he's been working on his basic boxing skills. And as he himself said, in this fight, Dominic Breazeale will be my guinea pig. So
You got
that's
to wear that
basic.
lab coat.
You gotta wait.
Sweet
He's gonna be
science.
sweet science
Sweet
lab
science.
coat in the ring.
Got to
And he's
wear that
throwing those
lab
bombs
coat.
at this man.
He's
But
working on it.
He's working on the basics, so expect to see him sharpened up a little bit. He's working on his defense, and I think that'll just make him a more elusive and powerful fighter. He does say he's magical and how he's a gift from God, and he hasn't proven anyone wrong, or he hasn't been proven wrong by anyone, I should say. So yeah, again, I expect a big victory from Deontay Wilder this Saturday, and I'm thinking knockout 6th round. No, nothing further than that. What do you think?
I think Wilder's. This is a performance piece comparing his body of work to the control, as we talk about in science, is Dominic Breazeale. We saw him in the ring against Anthony Joshua. You saw what happens. So Deontay Wilder, he's got to put on his display and show his artwork in boxing and see which painting is better. Because that's what I worry about for Breazeale here. It's not only the bad blood, it's because it's more dangerous because Wilder wants to show everybody that he can beat you up more than Joshua. So
that's what it really comes down to, because he knows they're going to compare both fights, and at the moment, that's the only way, because they're not going to fight. So the only way to prove who's better is going to be based off who beats Dominic Breazeale's ass the best.
Who beats up this man?
This guinea pig.
Yeah, the guinea pig, Breazeale. And because the Wilder Joshua fight is on the horizon. That's coming up. So
It'll come eventually.
That's going to be talked about after Wilder beats this man's ass. I agree. Excuse me. I predict a knockout in the 4th round.
Whoa! All right.
I think he's going to put him down.
Someone's definitely going down, and it's going to be Breazeale. If Breazeale wins,
that would be would be crazy. I just no.
I'll stop the podcast if Breazeale wins.
I just don't see a way.
There's no chance in hell.
The way Joshua outboxed him, and Wilder's, while rougher on the edges, still possesses a quickness similar to Joshua. Maybe not as fine-tuned in terms of his boxing craft, but he's gonna do damage. He's gonna do some real damage.
I think Breazeale might get a few good punches in too. Don't get me wrong.
Because he's gonna walk through a couple.
He's gonna walk through a couple to deliver a couple. But like I said, Wilder has a chin as well. So once those land, guess whose turn it is to swing back? And I don't know if he's going to be able to handle that onslaught of like massive blows to the dome. So
that signature right hand is going to be the punch. You heard it here first, folks. That's going to be the punch. The feint with the left and the overhand right will be the one that puts Breazeale down for good.
He's going to turn that guinea pig into some rib tips. That's for sure.
Absolutely.
Mark my words, this Saturday.
Hey, getting a little hungry now.
Hey, so I think that basically sums it up. I didn't want to really get into anything else. I wanted to put a lot of emphasis on this upcoming fight. This is the big fight to watch. Moving forward, we'll get into the Anthony Joshua fight with Ruiz, which will also be an interesting fight since Ruiz is such an enigma. But I really think this is going to be one of the biggest fights of the year, because the heavyweights don't fight as often as the other lightweights and welterweights. So this is going to be a good opportunity to see how well Wilder's skills have sharpened so far throughout this part of the year.
I was watching a little bit of Paulie Malignaggi discussing the fight earlier this afternoon, and he brought up a really good point about the heavyweight division. I know we haven't covered the heavyweight division as much as we could have, but we're getting there, and there's always some big fights on the horizon in the heavyweight division. But back to Paulie Malignaggi, he was saying Wilder is just getting better. He's going to keep getting better, and there's a 3-headed monster going on. So you got Joshua, Wilder, and Tyson Fury. I know we didn't really get into that previous matchup, which was a draw, but I mean, y'all saw that. That was fireworks, and we really do want that Wilder Fury rematch. I actually want that before the Joshua matchup. I just think because that's just going to be a great fight. And both Tyson Fury, another one of my favorite. I like characters, guys with some charisma.
They all have their own little unique things. Like Wilder has a southern draw. Fury has that British thing about it.
Last time,
Fury's.
There was the United States, a U.S. fighter had the heavyweight title. I mean, it was in a while. So, yeah, I think that three-headed monster is kind of big for the heavyweight division.
Yeah, Dominic Breazeale is trying to rear his head in there, but I just do not
he's trying to peek through real quick, take a look.
Even when he speaks, I don't feel the conviction in his voice, in his tone.
Either. I don't think he's that
body
sure
language. I do not see it.
Doesn't seem that sure of himself. Wilder wears a mask into the ring, so.
Wilder does wear a mask. He dresses like a peacock, ready to kill. He summons his ancestors, as he said on several occasions, and he then destroys whoever's in front of him. So, that's what's probably going to happen this weekend. So, it is what it is. Another death on his hands.
We're going to be doing that giveaway, guys. So,
doing
with that. We're still building up our
subscribers base actually has grown a lot from when we first started, so that's good. Obviously, we want to add on more subscribers, and then we really want to get a good pool, put together before we do raffle off the glove. And again, if for anybody who's new, who hasn't watched the show yet, what we're doing on the Sweet Science TV is we're going to be raffling off a glove that was signed by both Manny Pacquiao and Mayweather. So this is a big memorabilia type item. It would auction off for thousands of dollars. And we're lucky to have it in our possession because it was given to us by a generous donor. And he really does believe in the show and what we provide in regards to feedback and, to the boxing community. So we will be drawing that soon. We're just waiting to add some more subscribers. Maybe once we hit 100, I think that would be a good point to raffle it away and just make that happen.
Also, you can always view the video without being logged into YouTube, but we're going to need you to be logged into YouTube with either your Google or whatever YouTube account so that you can like and subscribe so that we can get to that point where we can, give away this cool merch. And we're going to be having some T-shirts coming up for sale and giveaways. That's me. We got a bunch of plans coming up for the show, and the merch. I think it's pretty cool. I mean, why the hell not? Have a cool T-shirt for the Sweet Science TV. Y'all deserve it, and I think this channel has been working hard to get to that point.
Personally autographed Sweet Science T-shirt. I know that's something Estuardo would definitely be interested in, as well as many of the members of our fan base. So.
Also, since we're getting near the end over here, I want to do a shout out to Cooley's Bar and Events. Great place over here. We got the Green Zebra. It's a little watermelon ghost brewed with sea salt. So we got a large selection of craft beers here, and it's just a great place. I mean, you take a look at all this cool memorabilia. Just a good place to hang out and host a podcast. So shout out to Poolies.
And Black Eye.
Absolutely.
All right. So, any last words for everybody before we let them go? I'm good on my end. Everything's good to go. I'm just excited for Saturday.
Really excited, especially when I get to do my little science sessions where I get to watch fights for hours in preparation. It's not work, folks. It's fun. We love doing this. And
Robbie works countless hours watching footage, especially between the hours of 12 a.m.
Like maybe 5 in the morning. Yeah, nighttime is really where I get the work done.
He really dedicates himself after work to just getting in all the footage that he can possibly take. Basically,
want to come on here with a sharp opinion and hopefully enlighten some of our big boxing heads.
Maybe next episode we'll have Tehran on. Tehran watches the show and he's very anxious to one day come on. So. I'll say this: like, if Wilder wins, we'll let Tehran come on the show. So
I love
the invite almost.
On the show, Tehran's a good dude, and he's got a great opinion. So the more, boxing heads we can put together and keep things spicy, the more we will. So looking forward to it, guys.
Cool. And with that said, we're gonna end the show, but not before we fade out with a little more Cassidy and his hotel. If that girl don't participate.
Well, then I'ma take her friend. Mommy's with it, then. Mommy's a good it, then. Mommy a rider, I'ma slide up inside of her.
He's doing that shirt.
For glory. For glory.
Hey, see y'all next time.